Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Holy Happy Hour, your Catholic nightcap. Grab a drink, get comfortable, and join us as we wind down the day with good conversation and deeper faith. So, whether you're drinking whiskey, tea, or something in between, this is your space to reflect, laugh, and grow closer to Christ, one Holy Happy Hour at a time. I am super excited to be here with you guys today. We got a great episode in the first of our new format, to where we are actually going to put together a little bit more segments and hopefully just bring more value to you. So before we jump in, though, I would love to start by always thanking our sponsors. If you guys weren't aware, Sacrilegious sponsors every single one of these episodes. And Sacrilegious is a great company that obviously does socks and other Catholic apparel, but the socks are some of my favorite. The polos that they have, they do all of our apparel ourselves that you can check out in the description below. That has all the link to our merchandise and everything, which we got a whole lot on that front as well. A little bit on that a little bit later on in the episode at the end. But check out Sacrilegious for all of your great, anything from business professional to casual, whether it's like stickers or other little accessories. It's such a cool company that is just doing great things to help people start Catholic conversations, great faithful conversations, just like this podcast in real life, like in the workplace, at coffee with a friend, at lunch with a friend, whatever it is. They're helping people start great and faithful conversations using really cool products. So this is our Holy Happy Hour shirt. It's got the logo on the back. Love the material. It's honestly one of my favorite shirts to wear of all my entire wardrobe. And so please go check them out. Again, our merchandise store is in the link below. But when you guys go to their website, you guys can use promo code HAPPY at checkout and you guys get 10% off. So please show Sacrilegious some love. Okay, so tonight we have a lot of great stuff planned for you guys. I want to give you guys a little recap of some stuff that's coming up in my own prayer life and my small groups that we've been talking about, but as well is share an interview I got to do with a great friend of mine. And it's a funny story on that for later. He's a great sport. We've had some technical difficulties, but great interview. Continue our series on coming to Catholicism. So I look forward to sharing that as like the meat of this episode. That's the star of the show. But then stick around to the end, because at the end, I'm going to be telling you guys about a giveaway that we are going to be giving away a Holy Happy Hour shirt every single month and sending it out. We can ship it anywhere in the world. You guys just let me know. And all you have to do is comment below. And so when you comment below, let us know what you're drinking for your nightcap. Today I got a little margarita, or comment below anything and everything you liked about the podcast today. So all the comments, all the nice ones, will be put into a drawing and we will do a giveaway at the very end. So make sure you guys are subscribing, liking, and putting the alert bell on so you guys are aware of when these episodes are coming out. First things first, I've been back from training now for over a month. And if you're not aware, just went off to training. I'm working as a missionary for the Catholic Church here in Tulsa, and I'm just super excited. We are kind of in this mode of building our mission support team so that we can actually be on mission full time. And it's been very humbling. It's been a very long process. And it's definitely been something that has been testing my trust in God. And that has been something that has been coming up in my prayer time. I was thinking about this talk that I want to give one day. I don't even have an event planned. I don't have a talk that I've been asked to do, but I've been thinking about this talk, and it's based around adoration. And for some reason, I think when I think of adoration, I think of Will Smith in The Fresh Prince of Bellaire when he shows up because he thinks he's going on the road with his dad, who just randomly showed up again, but Uncle Phil talks to him and then his dad leaves. And then he has this huge, crazy meltdown of like saying he never needed him. He's going to be twice the man he is. But it just leads up to Uncle Phil just grabbing him and hugging him, holding him super, super tight. And honestly, the whole video is so, so powerful. I was actually going to share it in this, but I didn't want the video to get too long. But you guys should go check it out. I mean, Fresh Prince of Bellaire, Will Smith's dad leaves or something like that. Type that in. I guarantee it'll pop up. But it's one of the best acting scenes I've ever seen. One of the most, it will cut to your heart acting scenes I have ever seen. But anyway, how does that relate to trusting God? In this season of raising money to be on mission, we raise money by people committing to a monthly gift. And so it's $50 here and $100 there and $150 here. And it adds up over time. But when we give 4 or 5 yeses, and then we look at our goal and like our or we're trying to get to here and we're down here, and then we get 4 or 5 yeses and we're like, oh, sweet, where are we at now? Okay, we're here. And it just keeps slowly growing, and it keeps slowly growing, and it keeps slowly growing. And what should we do? I mean, the ideal would be like to trust in God, that just keep doing the work and trust that God will provide and he will get my family to where we need to be on mission full time. But sometimes that's not so easy. And in my prayer life, I find myself kind of shying away from like going to my holy hours and wanting to, like, maybe I should be putting in more calls and putting in more texts and everything. And I am working on, and I don't even have an answer for this. I mean, like, I'm not sharing this to give you guys some wisdom and answer to this. It's me sharing this. Maybe you guys can comment below. This could be your giveaway comment. Comment below of like how I could work on this. But is during this time when I get anxious and stressed, I find myself wanting to run to work. Like I'm wanting to run, like, let's get to work. It's not a bad thing. Like, yeah, let's get to work and let's try to get to that goal faster so we can get to this goal faster, so we can get fully funded faster. It's not a bad thing, but am I relying on God to provide in doing the things that I should be doing as a missionary? That I should be praying my holy hours, that I should be going to mass? Am I doing the things that I should be doing to set myself up to be the best missionary possible from a spiritual standpoint? And then putting in the work to get fully funded. Because I know, like, intellectually, that makes so much sense. It makes so much sense that I would put in this work to get fully funded after I've done my due diligence of spending time with God in prayer, going to mass, and knowing that that is going to make all the work I do that much more fruitful, that I can be in this right place, and that that's what God wants the most. And then he wants us to get to work and cooperate with him on providing for our family. But that's not always the easiest thing to do. like like back to that scene, Will is kind of chill at first, like, oh no, it's okay, it's cool, like my dad left, like that's okay, like he's always been gone, that's always been him, he's always left. And then he slowly, like throughout the scene, again, if you haven't seen it, please look it up, because slowly throughout the scene, he's just like, I don't need him, I don't need him, I could be twice the man he ever was. And he slowly like builds and builds and builds, and he's just like, to hell with him, like at the very end, like he's yelling. And Phil just grabs him and wraps him up and pulls him in, like, for a hug. And then Will is like there and has been brought into this hug. And then he grabs Uncle Phil, and Uncle Phil readjusts his hug, and they're just squeezing each other so tight. But Will in that moment knew, like, I need somebody, like I need someone to be this dad figure. I thought my dad was going to be it, but he's not. But he's missing the point that Uncle Phil is there to be that father figure. He's always been there for him. And after he's pulled in, after he's kind of forced into this hug, he then embraces it and realizes, this is what I need in hugs. So how do I create that with my prayer life, where that prayer life is that big hug that Uncle Phil's giving? And maybe at first we're like in that prayer life, we're like, like I know I need this. It's like, it feels so good. And then we just go into our prayer life. But how do I make that my go-to? Like, what if like his dad left and he'd be like, Uncle Phil, why does he keep doing this? And he grabs Uncle Phil and squeezes him tight. Like, logically, that makes more sense that would happen, and not vice versa. But go watch that scene. It will seriously cut to your heart, and picture yourself. And like, how many times is God Uncle Phil for you? And how many times are you just like angry and you're bringing your anger to God? Maybe you're not angry at God, but you're angry about something. You're anxious about something. You're sad about something. You're depressed about something, whatever it is. And you're sitting there and you're maybe even telling God about it, but you're not actually handing it over to him. You're not actually giving it all to God. And so again, I don't have an answer for this. I would love like your feedback. Like, how can I best focus on, man, things are getting tough, I really need to go pray. Man, things are getting tough. Maybe I should hit the confession line in mass, or maybe I should go to mass. Maybe I should schedule a spiritual direction, or maybe I should talk to my priest, or maybe I should talk to my team director. Like, how can we gear our life towards God first, so that we truly are finding our identity in Christ, and then using that identity in Christ to then fulfill whatever mission he has for us. So that's been my thought of the day. That's been something that's been on my heart and in my prayers. And I hope that maybe it's helpful for you. Maybe you are one of those people that like, oh my gosh, this is very, very similar. Maybe check out the comments. Maybe someone's commented below. If you're listening to this though, please comment, because you never know who's watching, who they need the advice that's in your head that you could type out. Don't do it for the algorithm, stuff like that. But I truly, truly want you to do it for that person that might need it. Maybe it's me. It's definitely me. Whatever advice you're going to type out, unless it's just ridiculous, whatever advice you're going to type out, I definitely need it. But whatever advice you're going to type out, there may be someone out there that is afraid to talk to someone who's not, and they really, really need someone. So I hope that helps somebody out there. I know it helped me, honestly. Just talking about that helped me. I feel good. But today, in today's episode, we're about to go to our interview, and I was so blown away by this interview. I recorded it right before new staff training. It was supposed to come out like June 3rd or 4th or something like that. And I go to edit it before I leave for new staff training, and I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. Anthony sounds amazing, and his picture looks great. He shared his story so well. And then every time I talk, the words are off. So my mouth starts moving, and then the words come. And I was like, if I post this, you guys will hate me. I will start seeing the subscribers go down. I'll see the average view time be like 10 seconds, because as soon as the intro starts, they're gonna be like, oh gosh, I cannot watch this. So I unfortunately had to scrap it. I reached out to Anthony and I apologize so much. Any way you can re-record it, because your story is so amazing. And he's like, absolutely, let's do it again. And honestly, he shared it even better the second time. He was out at the Catholic Creators Conference, which I like thought was super cool too. So we got to chat about that a little bit. I'm looking forward to hearing more about that as well, and hopefully being there next year, because there were some amazing creators out there. Kyle and Drew do a great job with that event. But if you guys are interested, if you're creators, want to be creators, maybe check out that Catholic Creators Conference or the Discord channel, which I can leave that link in the description below, just in case you're interested in being in a group with a whole bunch of Catholic content creators. But let's go ahead and cheers to a great episode with Anthony. Raise a glass, enjoy the interview, and I will see you on the backside when we do our review of our Catholic business. And I have a couple of big announcements at the end. So don't miss that last business, and we're going to talk about the giveaway as well. But enjoy this interview I did with Anthony. All right, well, I am here with Anthony, and first of all, you're out at the Catholic Creators Conference, right?
I am indeed. Good old Steubenville, Ohio.
Oh, that's awesome. I actually just had someone from my parish get back from Steubenville. So, I mean, Steubenville is just like the place for Catholic things. Like, I think there was a youth conference last week. So,
right. Yeah, they do them every weekend over the course of the summer. The Steubenville, the Catholic youth, or everybody just calls it Steuby. But it's a big youth group thing. They're actually having one this weekend too. So we're sitting in the St. Paul Center, and we're just watching all these high schoolers walking down this hill. It's blazing hot and humid in Ohio right now, and so we're sitting in this nice air conditioned room, watching all these high schoolers trek down this gigantic hill because Franciscan's on top of the hill, and we're just watching. Like, we feel so bad for those poor kids.
Yeah. Oh man. And I'm sure it's not as bad for them. I feel like I didn't really hate the heat until I was like an adult. And then I was just like, this is brutal. I hate this. I was just in Lincoln, Nebraska recently for new staff training to be missionary. And we walked everywhere across that campus. And the first half was beautiful, amazing. But then all of a sudden summer hit Nebraska, and it was 100 degrees, 1,000,000% humidity. And I was like, this is the worst. This is the worst thing in the world. Yeah. But it was fun. It was a good time. But yeah, how's the Creators Conference going? Is it good turnout and a good amount of people there? And
oh yeah, it's been good. I think they intentionally limit the number of tickets that are available, but it's been really good. It's been a minute since I've actually posted on my account, and I think I just like lost some of the steam for it. But I already had the ticket, and so I figured, okay, I'm gonna go and just talk to people and see what's going on there. And in talking to people about like the mission of my own account and why I created it, it's just been everybody's been like, wait, we have a need for that. And so it's, I'm starting to kind of pick up a little bit more energy and a little bit more zeal to get back on that horse. So it's also just been good to connect with other like-minded Catholic people who are doing the digital evangelization thing. And sharing tips and tricks in that, that they call the digital continent, right? Like the church is called what we do, the digital continent, and what we do, digital evangelization. And so tips and tricks on how to really navigate all of that. And it's not all about growth, right? It's not supposed to be about growth. It's just, souls over subscribers, right? And so just talking to people about how they navigate that type of mentality of like, you don't have to care about the metrics. Like the metrics are cool and all, but really just being your authentic self and yeah, just like putting out good quality Catholic content is just what's important.
Yeah, absolutely. When I first started this, I was really blessed because I reached out and I was like, I'm gonna reach out to anybody and everybody. I don't mind hearing no. And I reached out to the religious hippie, and so I really reached out to Amber Rose, and then she messaged back and was like, I'd love to do it. And then we did a whole episode on like what it's like to be a follower of Jesus on social media.
Yeah.
And all of her advice was the exact same. It's like, don't get caught up in your numbers, your subscribers, anything like that. Like it's all about just what you're doing. And whether your video impacts one person or 1,000 people, there's no difference. It's like you're hopefully helping someone's soul in whatever you're doing. So don't try to be someone else, and don't try to out do people and numbers and stuff, because that's where the enemy can sneak in and just make you feel terrible about a video that actually was probably really impactful.
Yeah, she's actually here at the conference.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was actually really funny because we had interacted on a very, very basic level a few years back, like more than a few years back at this point, because I was dating a girl who was sisters with somebody I'm pretty sure she went to school with.
Oh, okay.
And so I was like, do you know this person?
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, yeah. And so we finally connected. I see her from across the street, and I'm like, are you the religious hippie? And she goes, yeah. And so, yeah, it's just really cool to even just walk around and just casually interact with these creators that are larger, right? Like the people who have a larger following. And it not that I didn't, come across her posts and be like, oh, that person's a human being, right? Because obviously there's always a human behind every account. But it kind of just reminds you, like there's flesh and blood behind blood and a soul, most importantly, behind every single account that's out there putting out content. So
yeah, absolutely. And it is cool to see some of those people that have like these bigger accounts that are growing quick, because it's like, oh sweet, like I'm on a good path. Like I want to do what you're doing, so you're reaching so many people. And it's kind of like the imitate me as I imitate Christ type thing. Like that's like I love that and for me that's always been Adrian, Sips with Sarah. And I love what he's doing. I love his demeanor. I love this. He's very intellectual, but you can tell like he's got that good balance of like, I'm on social media, I do digital evangelization, but I know that there's a balance, and I've got to also be off this. I've got to have a good prayer life, and I've got to be engaging in the sacraments and stuff like that. And then I'm just randomly watching Pints of Aquinas. It's literally Matt Fradd and Keith Nestor, like some of the bigger, big Catholic accounts. And they're like, you know who else is doing some good work? It's Sips with Sarah. It's like, I don't know if you've heard of that page. And Keith Nestor's like, I love that page. And I'm just like, what in the world? I just had that guy on my show. That's so cool. So, it's awesome. It's super cool. Well, thanks for being on. And full disclosure, everyone, this is not the first time we've talked. We actually recorded with my wife's old crappy laptop, and my voice was like a full second behind my the sound, and it was terrible. So I was like, okay, we just got to redo this whole thing. But it was beautiful because I got to do a media fast. This is my first episode, besides a little 8-minute episode I put out just to tell people I was coming back. But first full episode since going to new staff training, being on a media fast for a month and a half. And so we're super excited to have you back on and hear more about your story. And so I thought we'd just jump right into it. And I know you kind of like this reversion story, and I love testimonies, and they're just like the life before the death that happened, which is so relatable to people, and hopefully that'll be the part that touches people. But then the hope given of the resurrection that came from that dark moment of coming back to Christ, and so we'll just start from the beginning, and I'm sure I'll interrupt you plenty of times.
Yeah, absolutely. Feel free. Yeah. So life before, right? So I was raised a cradle Catholic. Like you said, it's a reversion story. So I know that the series is more centered on conversions, but I was born Catholic. And I was raised, I mean, in the faith, right? I went through all my sacraments of initiation, but what really was lacking, and what I think has been lacking in the church for a very long time now, is true good catechesis, and especially in the home, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are some families that do a phenomenal job of it. You know, my mom would, like, we would pray before I went to bed, and she would hand off some things, but it never really stuck. Like, I was never really taught how to build a relationship with Christ, either through the home or through the different classes that I was going through for my first communion or my confirmation.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, most of those classes, I call it kumbaya catechesis, where you have this sense of, it's just like, God loves you, God loves everyone, and that's all that matters. But you're never really told how or why God does either of those things. And so when something bad happens to you, it rocks you. And it'll take this thing that you were told as fact, and you almost end up feeling stiffed. Like you feel lied to. It's like all these people that you generally trusted to tell you the truth have told you one thing, and then something bad happens. And again, like, you're never really formed in like the how or the why God does love you, or God does love me, right? If you're gonna make it personal, like, God does love me. Never really told how, other than the fact that, like, Jesus died, right? But which, like, it processes in a kid's head, but it doesn't. I don't know. For me, it never really sunk in. And again, like, I'm never taught how to have a true relationship with Jesus. So that'll come a little bit later, right? But I go through all my sacraments of initiation. My parents have been separated since I was 1, so I kind of grew up with that. I was mostly at my mom's house. I would split time between my mom and my dad. My dad remarried when I was around 6, and then, you know, go through all the sacraments, go through all the classes, all that stuff. And as I was approaching confirmation, basically, like, after I got confirmed, my mom was bringing me to church every week. After I got confirmed, my mom stopped bringing me to church. There are a few reasons for that, and I know them now. We've talked about it. But mom stopped bringing me to church, and simultaneously, my dad started going through a second divorce. And because my diocese would, if you were raised in the Catholic faith, you were getting confirmed when you were basically about to enter high school. And you're a little bit more aware of it when you're entering high school than when you're 1. So, you know, like I said, I grew up with the first one. It was just kind of how things were. But then I'm hyper aware, and I mean, you know, hormonal, right, as a teenager is. And so everything's completely out of whack. And really, my mom stopping, you know, the weekly, like, going to church every single week, it was probably the worst time for that to happen, right? Because this bad thing was going on in my life. And it sounds selfish to say it that way, but it's like, it was probably the worst time for that to stop, for me to stop going to church. Because at the very least, like, you know, I wasn't necessarily praying outside of that, but at the very least, like, I had the sacrament, right? Like I had the Eucharist. And then I didn't have any of that. And so what ended up happening was, like, this spiral into what I at the time I would have called it atheism. Looking back, it was more agnosticism, because I recognize now that I was really just refusing. Like, I was refusing to believe in God, not out of anything intellectual, but because it was just pure anger, right? I was angry because, like I said, like, I'd always been told that God loves me, and never how. And so, you know, you're 14 years old and you sit there and you're like, well, if God loves me, then why does this bad thing happen, right? And you think that nobody's ever thought of that in the history of the entire church. You think that you're the smartest kid ever.
Like, I'm the best philosopher to walk this planet.
Right, exactly, ever. Nobody's ever thought this in 2,000 years, right? Ever. But, you know, you sit there and it's like, well, all these people told me that God loves me, but this is happening. And then you just get angry. You get angry at the people that told you that God loves you. You get angry at God. And it's just like it's a perfect storm, really. And so I spiraled into this, like, atheist agnosticism that was weird for about 3.5 years. And during that time, it was like, just anything that would come up, like any emotions, I couldn't go to God and talk to them. You know, I didn't want to go to God and talk about them. And so I would just kind of box them up, right? I would compartmentalize, right? And I would just push them off. So I'm a big proponent. I think that there is a healthy version of compartmentalization, which might be a hot take, but I think that there's a healthy version of it where, like, sometimes you need to put some emotions into, like, a little thing, but then you have to process them later. I was not doing that. I was doing the first half, completely neglecting the second half. And so I would just push them away and just, like, never touch them again. And if there were like any fights, I would just into a box, into the corner of my mind, and I would just never think about them again.
Yeah.
And you know, I had some great friends in high school. Thank goodness I didn't get into like the wrong crowds, right? Because if I got into the wrong crowds, who knows what I would have been doing.
Yeah.
I had some good friends. Not that we didn't do stupid things. We did a lot of stupid things. Like I made some poor decisions in high school, but it's like I definitely could have run with a worse crowd. And I think God really gave me grace even in that area of my, like, even as I was away from him, like he gave me that grace and that protection of like, yeah, you're going to stick away from these, you know, these specific social groups. And so I had a great group of friends. We would get into some trouble, you know, a little bit of debauchery, as a high schooler does.
Yeah, I had that same graces of like God put good friends. Like as soon as I choose not to go to church, I had good high school friends that were gonna keep me at least grounded to Jesus in a non-denominational way, and allows at least I didn't get in the party crowd, but we did some dumb stuff. I always say we did as much dumb like legal things you could do. Like we never did anything illegal. No, we maybe did a couple things illegal, but nothing ever crazy.
Sure. Yeah. I would say that was probably a similar boat. Although I had one friend who was like a pretty strong Protestant. And then outside of that in the group, nobody really talked about religion.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I had probably similar experience, you know. It's about as far as you can go within the bounds of legality, and maybe a sprinkle of some gray areas.
Yeah, but generally, the police officer wouldn't have liked that one.
Right. But just like generally, just some bad decisions, right? And just really being an unpleasant person to be around. Like outside of my friend group and outside of my family, I was a very unpleasant person to be around. And I recognize that now, but it's just like all of that anger and that hatred that I, you know, was taking out on God, I was also taking out on a lot of the people around me in a lot of different ways. And it just like, it sucks, you know, now like you experience one of those people, not you, I experienced one of those people. Right. And I just hurt. My heart just hurts for them because I know what that's like. And I know that everybody's going through all these different things. And so I always try to make a point now to just, hey, like, are you okay? Like, is there something, like, do you want to talk about something? But yeah, that was a lot of my life beforehand. And so for about 3.5 years, you know, I'm just living this weird life, you know, not necessarily like doing the worst things that a high schooler could do, but not the best decisions, definitely not praying, you know, really trying to almost actively push away from a lot of that stuff. And about halfway through my junior year, it was over winter break. This amazing thing happened. Well, it's not going to sound that amazing at first, but an amazing thing happened. But it started with a fight, like a really bad fight, because my dad was still in the area. He was still in Illinois, and it started with a really bad fight one night because I was over at his house, and it was right before I had to go back to school off of winter break, and it was enough. Like I'm not gonna get into the details of it, but what occurred was bad enough to like set off the pressure cooker, or you know, like make the lid come off the pressure cooker with all of the emotions. Sorry, I think I just banged my mic, but it's like with all of the emotions that I had bottled up, it was bad enough to just make that explode. And I got home and I was just like, well, I'm going to just do what I've tried to do this entire time and just like close my eyes. I'm going to try to put it all back into a box, close my eyes, turn over, and just like go to sleep. And it just would not work. Like my mind was racing and some pretty negative thoughts. Everything, because, you know, I always envision when you put something into like a little bottle, like when you bottle up some sort of emotion, you never open it up again. It almost starts to like ferment in your mind, right? Like if there's something negative that you bottle up and you just put it away, it just starts to ferment and it gets really gross and it gets way nastier. And then when you do try to go back to that after too much time, it just like you open it and it's like opening soiled milk and you're just like, whoa, like it's like, holy cow. And so these nasty, nasty thoughts are flying around my head. And I fought for what felt like forever. It was probably about 2 to 2.5 hours of just like why don't I just close my eyes and just go to sleep and just go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. And it just would not work. And so I'm sitting there. I'm not sitting, I'm like lying down, facing my ceiling. And I just go to nothing in particular because I didn't believe in anything at that point. But I just vocalize. I just go, make it stop. And then like that, dead silence. And it's like a little bit of like the weight on my shoulders kind of came off a little bit.
Yeah.
But I almost didn't think anything of it because I had put so many walls up around my heart in terms of allowing God in that I almost just I didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Turn over and go to bed. Like it didn't even cross my mind that something amazing was happening to me.
Yeah.
And so I tried to go back to sleep. And then I had this urge that would just sit there to go dig through my closet. And I'm a teenage boy. Like my closet's disgusting. Just gross. Like it's a mess. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I fought that for a little bit. And then I finally decided, fine, whatever. If this is going to make me go to sleep, if this is one of those things that like I got to just do before I go to bed, just to put my mind at rest, whatever. I don't pick up a phone. I don't turn on a light. It's the dead of winter, so there's no light in my room at all. And I just started digging. And I'm digging in the dark for something that I don't even know. Like I'm just digging around and I'm pulling things away and I'm like, I don't know what I'm looking for, but maybe I don't find anything, whatever. But like, it'll just put my mind at ease. And I get to the bottom of a pile. I pull the last item away, and there's this just warm, radiating light on the ground. And there are two objects there. So one of them was like glowing, radiating. And when I say a warm light, I mean not like literal like, you know, color temperature of the light, but it almost felt like a warm hug. Like when I always describe it as like when you're a kid, when you're like a little, very little kid, and you're sobbing for some reason, and your mom is like, hey, like, it's okay, and you're still sobbing, and then you just like, run into her arms, and she just embraces you, and just gives you, like, the most motherly hug. It was like that, but times infinity. And so, like, you know, I said, like, the weight had lifted off my shoulders a little bit. It was like the weight melted off my shoulders when I encountered that. It was just like all of that was happening. It just like, whew, right? At least for that moment, it was just like a peace that I didn't have in a while. Like I had not had in a very long time. And then the other object was like reflecting the light that was coming off of the one. And so the one that was reflecting the light was a rosary that I got from my first communion. And so when I look back, I can look back and I can say like Mary was guiding me home the entire time. When I fell away, Mary was always bringing me back. Like she was always trying to get me to come back. And as a good mother, like whenever I really think back on it and I sit in adoration, I just think about what I've come from. And I imagine I was formed by a lot by the Jesuits in college. And so I'm big on Ignatian spirituality and imaginative prayer. And whenever I really like imagine Mary in my life during that time, I just imagine she must have been devastated, like heartbroken, seeing one, me turn so aggressively away from her son, and two, just like me not like, you know, me just being so rude to everybody else. Right.
Yeah.
And just being like weeping. But she was there the entire time. She was always guiding me back as a good mother does.
Yeah.
And I also now see it as like Mary always reflects the light of Christ, right? Like, you know, theologically, right? You know, your head starts to go as you get deeper into Catholic stuff.
Yeah.
The other
object. That's super cool too, because I feel like that's a good thing. Like with meditative style, if someone really wanted to think meditatively, if you're struggling with a sin, like really, really think to yourself, like Jesus is always with you. Mary loves to walk with people.
Yeah.
So when you're engaging in that sin, they are there with you. They're not leaving. They're there with you. And when they are, like you were saying, they're probably just devastated. They're like, man, I really wish you wouldn't do that.
Right.
And then for me, it always also just makes it feel awkward too. It's like, oh, dang, if I'm going to engage in this sin, especially if it's something like real shameful, like, oh, like pornography, it's like Jesus and Mary are right there next to you. It's like, oh, I probably shouldn't do that then. And so, but I think it really does help with like picturing that. It's like the enemy's also there, but but Jesus, Mary loves to walk with people are right
Mm-hmm.
there with you.
Yeah.
I think meditating with that is such a great tip for people, because it's such a comforting thing, but then also I think can help like remind you. It's like, oh yeah, I got them here to keep me strong. Like I don't need to fall.
Right. And like I have heavenly witnesses, right? So it's like, it's not even just like, oh, they're there to keep me strong. Also like kind of accountability. They are watching everything I do. And so, and of course it's kind of a harder accountability, you know, with something like pornography, right? Like it's the best thing that you can do is get an actual accountability partner, right?
Yeah.
But it's kind of, you know, you have images of saints in spaces where you would maybe tend to fall into that. It becomes a lot harder because you're always reminded, like, they're here. They're praying for me, but it's like heavenly witnesses. It's a pretty just accountability.
That's literally on my podcast desk. These things stay on here, and they're these cool things from Spirit Juice Studios. I'll hold up a bigger one so it's easier to see. But like, I mean, this one needs to be changed soon. But Blessed Carlo Acutis.
Yeah.
But it's this really thick cardstock, and it's got his biography on the back.
Oh, that's awesome.
But it's just like such a cool thing to just keep here. I got Mother Angelica, Father Emile Capon, people like that. And I just love keeping these near, especially the one that's on top is Venerable Fulton Sheen, but love keeping them near because it's just like keeping that. And then obviously then this and the crucifix behind me just keep like reminding me that like, these people are with me. So anything I do here, just Jesus, the saints are here to support it and help this impact someone out there.
Right. Yeah. Oh, the saints are just so good. The saints are so good.
Yeah.
And Mary just like is such a good mother. Such a good mother.
Yeah.
But the other object, the one that was radiating, the one that was like glowing with this warm light, it was, I don't know if I can really get it on the camera here, but it's actually, it's a crucifix. I also got it for my first communion.
Oh, nice.
But I always wear it now, you know, since that night, I seldom take it off.
That's awesome.
Really the only times that I've taken it off recently have been like intramural sports. And they were like, you need to take your jewelry off. And I would always try to tuck it underneath my shirt and just like hide it.
So they don't see it.
Yeah. So sometimes it worked. And then other times they were like, oh, you know, like it would pop out and they're like, you can't wear that. You can't wear that. But it was two things that I got for my first communion, which actually looking back now, I think like it's almost Eucharistic in some way. Like it's just, God just did so many things for me.
Yeah.
And really like the way that I would, he tailored the way that he guided me back to me personally. And it's like, I can always look at that experience and know, and like, it'll make also more sense as I go into like my life afterwards.
Yeah.
But like, you know, oh, God knows me personally. God knows my name, knows the numbers of hairs on my head. And I think that you could see that and you could read that and you can maybe know that here, but it's sometimes hard to know that here in your heart. Right?
Yeah.
You know that in your head. It's sometimes hard to know in your heart. But I can always look back on that and know everything was so personalized for the way that he guided me back to himself that I can just know that he knows me personally. He knows me very personally. Yeah. And so I put on the crucifix. I pick up the rosary. I didn't realize I was supposed to be meditating on mysteries, but I just start kind of like thumbing through the old prayers that I like vaguely remembered. And I fell asleep doing that. And it's not as though it fixed everything. It's not like my dad called me the next day and was like, my marriage is fine now. Or I woke up the next day and I was just, you know, no longer struggling with any of the anxiety around my life situation there. It's not as though any of that was the reality. But what it did allow was the beginning of a relationship to form. And so what would happen was I would come home and my prayers started off as just these one sentence, almost snarky things coming back. You know, like I would get back from school, I'd go up to my room and I would go, God, I hated today. And that'd be it. And that was my entire prayer for a little bit. Right. But it was still prayer. When I would say that, I would leave my room, go do my homework, move on with my day. And then the beautiful thing about prayer, that I didn't realize at the time, but I was living it, was that the grace that you get from God through prayer it's like a trail of breadcrumbs. Like you just follow it, and it kind of just like leads you a little bit further and a little bit further. And the grace, it leaves you thirsting for more. Like you don't realize how thirsty you've actually been until you start to like pray again. And you know, what is it? There's the whole saying that like, you know, the weight of sin, right? And then somebody who is atheist being like, well, I live in this life that you call sin, but I don't feel any weight on me. And the priest's response being, well, can a dead man feel a ton that's laying on top of him? It's like, no, he's dead.
Yeah.
But when you start to give it a little bit of life, then it's like, oh, there's like a lot of weight on me right now. And so it was an experience that was similar to that, where I, you know, one sentence turned it into two, turned it into three, turned it into four, turned it into a conversation. And it was very little by little. But I started to kind of come back to him. I was not going to church yet. I was not going to my youth group yet. But little by little, he started to lead me into a deeper and deeper relationship with him. And I started desiring that more and more. And then there was one night that my mom was like, you got to get out of the house. It was her and my dad were going to have a tough conversation. And she was like, I don't want you here for it. And so I went to my phone and I texted the first person that I saw on my iMessages. And it was somebody that I had met the summer before that big event happened to me.
Yeah.
And so I text her and I'm like, hey, I need to be out of the house tonight. Do you have any plans? Can we do anything? And she goes, I do have plans, but you can join. I'm going to my youth group. And I was like, well, where is it? You know, like I'm asking a bunch of questions. I'm a little bit skeptical. But, you know, like, where is it? It happened to be at my old home parish that I was raised in. And it was a MasterChef competition. And I love cooking. I love cooking.
Nice.
And so I was like, oh, yeah, give me a MasterChef competition. Are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah.
And so I go with my friend to this event. We won, by the way. This is like, it's not necessary to mention, but we did win.
Yeah.
But I left that thinking, these people have so much joy and I don't. Where is that coming from? How do they have it? And why do I not? And so I was like, well, I need to keep coming back, right? Like I need to keep coming back. There was a young Franciscan graduate that had graduated with a degree in theology and catechetics that was there. So she could always answer my questions. Like as I started to come back, I started to ask questions and more questions because I'm still like a little bit teetering, right? Like I was building a relationship with God, but I was still like, I'm a little unsure about this stuff. And she could answer all my questions like perfectly. And then there was a priest that was new, like a new priest that was there. It was his first parish assignment out of ordination.
Yeah.
And he was just young. And I remember when I was there before, there was like one younger-ish priest that was there, but otherwise it was just like old dudes. And I could look at this guy and I was like, whoa, you're kind of close to my age. Like this is a weird experience for me. But you know, I would ask both of them questions and it was really the perfect people to bring me back. Right. And so I'm going through, I'm asking them questions, and eventually like my friend starts to bring me back to church with her family. This friend knows who she is. Like if she's, I won't name drop her or anything, but she knows who she is. If she's watching this, she knows who she is. And like, seriously, thank you so much. Message to you. Thank you so much. Like you saved me. You saved me. But she starts bringing me to church, you know, sitting with them. I keep going to this youth group. I didn't realize that I wasn't supposed to be receiving in a state of mortal sin. Like I was receiving the Eucharist until somebody said it. Like I think the youth minister said it one time. And I was like, what? I'm not supposed to be doing it? Oh, whoops. And so I start like flipping out. I didn't receive for a little bit, but we had this winter life. We're approaching winter. And we had this thing called the Winter Life Retreat. And so they did it in adoration night and they had confession while that was going on. And it was the young priest that was helping out with all of it. And so I go to confession for the first time, and I'm flipping out because he's going to be so wrathful because I'm writing down in a little notebook all of my sins. And I mean, it was front and back page, laundry list, just an insane list of things. And I was like, dude, he's gonna be so mad at me. He's gonna yell at me in the confessional. Like it's gonna be horrible. I'm gonna be humiliated. And so I sit there and I'm reading off all these things, and the priest is dead silent on the other side of the screen. And I'm just like, oh no, he's so mad. He's so mad right now. And so he's dead silent. I finish, and he stays silent for about 5 straight seconds. And I'm just bracing. I'm like, oh, he's gonna lay it out. This is gonna be bad. And the first words out of his mouth are praise God. And I just started crying. Like it's just tears, because I had braced so hard for the wrath to only receive mercy. And I think that's how the sacrament of confession, of reconciliation, should be, right? Going to confession should be like that, where it's like this reality of like, we do deserve, because of our sins, we do deserve some level of wrath. Like we deserve justice. But yet we're only given mercy when we come humbly to the sacrament. And that's beautiful.
Yeah.
But I just started crying, and he gives me like a little bit more advice. There's like a little tissue box in there. I'm like pulling 5. And I'm just like, oh no. And I get out of confession, still crying. The youth ministers are like, she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm more than okay. Trust me. Like, I'm more than okay. And it just, from there, I just kept building a relationship with Christ, building, a deeper and deeper relationship with Jesus, learning more about my faith. I ended up going to a Catholic school. I helped lead the Catholic community there. Like I stepped into a leadership role there because I felt that's where I was called to do. And the Catholic community just like grew. God did so much at Xavier. He really used me as an instrument at that place. And it's just like the amount of joy. I'll look back and I'll see pictures of myself before my reversion, and I'll see pictures of myself after, where I'm smiling. And the initial smile, like you can look at it and you're like, okay, like, he's smiling for the picture and like it looks fine. But then you see a picture. I delivered my testimony to my youth group one time, and my friend that brought me in, she was a little bit into photography, so she had brought a camera and she was taking pictures of me. And the smile that I had at that was like, I look and it's just night and day. It's like, you can tell that there's like, I have a genuine joy now that's found in God. And it's just like, he's done so much for me. And he's taken all this brokenness, this horrible situation that's just sad. And he's redeemed it entirely. And so it's just like the amount of gratitude that I have for the Lord and for the people that he put in my life to help guide me back. Man, it's hard to put in words. This is hard to put in words.
That's so awesome. I think it's so true too, that you really, really can see when like Jesus is like truly beaming out from people. Like I think there's a saint that said like we should be like stained glass. And it's like if there's no light shining through the back, like stained glass is not pretty. But as soon as you let light shine through, it's like, whoa, that's like the most beautiful window I've ever seen in my life. And I had that similar thing when I just had this sin that I was dealing with of just engaging in pornography and masturbation for so long. And even friends that I didn't tell them about it, but I finally had this Holy Spirit moment of just being filled. And I felt like I got these clear directions in my head: go to confession, tell Branson, who's the guy I was walking with, or am walking with, and then tell your wife. And I did all those things. And literally the next week, I mean, obviously a lot of work still to be done, and a lot of stuff I needed to build up with my wife at the time and everything. But people were like, Josh, you must be having a great day. Like you just seem like you're glowing. And man, it's because I had this massive smudge on my window and I finally cleaned it off. And so that's super cool to see, because people can truly tell when someone's actually kind of beaming with Jesus's love. It's just like filled with that. That's amazing. Well, that's awesome. Thanks for joining us and telling us about this story, and again for re-recording, because we've done it twice. We're super excited for these episodes and everything, and so we will we'll definitely tag you and everything, so that when you do, I know you said hadn't posted on your channel in a while, but we know you will, and so we'll make sure we get all that involved. Do you want to do a shout out for your channel before?
Sure.
Like, are you currently working on it?
Yeah, absolutely. I am mostly on Instagram. My handle is
Okay.
at Faith in the Ordinary. Um,
Okay.
you know, trying to build a community of people who are trying to live out this extraordinary call to sainthood in the context of ordinary life. So mostly through Instagram. I actually just recorded an episode with Taylor, who was a guest on your show. We're both
Oh,
in the
nice.
Cincinnati area, and so
Yeah.
we recorded something they had these studio sessions open at the conference. So we just recorded earlier, like an hour and a half ago, a quick podcast episode just about Catholic young adult life and living that.
Yeah.
And tips on how to like find the community and how to bring your faith into your workplace and all of that stuff. So so the podcast is called Ordinary Time. It'll probably not be very high. There's only 2 episodes on it. There's an intro, and there is a talk that I gave to my friend's youth group. So I don't know if you search up Ordinary Time, whether or not it'll show up. It'll probably be readings from Ordinary Time, a bunch of podcasts with like biblical, with people doing Bible study type things. But that'll be, you can find them all linked on my Instagram accounts.
Awesome. Well, yeah, we'll include all of it in there, and I may just have to send me over those links. It might be the easiest way. But other than that, you have a great rest of your time at that conference, and I'm sure we'll see you on the podcast again sometime. I'd love to have you on.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. It's been an honor.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to the interview with Anthony. I hope you guys really got something out of it. Again, I loved his story, and I loved it so much, you probably realize I don't talk much in it. I let him share, and I have some remarks here and there and questions here and there. But for the most part, it's just super cool to see someone that has had those struggles that a lot of us might have had in the past, where we're angry towards God and nothing's working, but we feel that drawback. Kudos to him for answering that call, like being in bed and being like, I should dig through my closet, not knowing what you're digging for. I feel like it's hard to say that I would get up and dig through the closet. That's so cool to hear. And it's so cool to know that like God works like that in people's lives. Like he draws them in, especially when they need it most. Like he will draw you in. And then when it comes to prayer, just keep showing up. Just keep showing up. Those are 2 of the biggest takeaways I had from his interview. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, thank you, Anthony, for joining. A drink for you, and hope you guys are enjoying your nightcap as well as we come to a close of this amazing episode. 2 things that we have to do before we close the episode, and we are going to do this at the end of every episode, is I am going to promote a Catholic business that 100% is not paying me to do this. 100% probably wouldn't pay me even if I asked them to pay me. But as this channel grows, I want to keep this going. I think that one of the best things we can do as Catholics is to promote others. Is when we help others grow, we help share the love. I truly believe that God will turn that around and bless us in the afterlife when it matters, because of selflessness and because of the people that were reached because we shared other Catholic people's businesses. And it's not always about us and our growth. It is about others around us. It is about other people, especially helping others come to know Jesus Christ more. And that charisma message, that initial proclamation of Jesus and living with Jesus as the center of your life. And I think that this business does it. So I am going to share my screen. I also don't even ask these businesses if I can do it. I just do it. So I hope they're okay with that. I think they'll be okay with it. This company I absolutely fell in love with. So one of my good friends, Hallie, she's on the Discord channel and everything, told me about this company. Said it's one of her favorites. Literally pulled it up like 5 minutes ago because I kind of forgot about it. And I was like, oh yeah, we're doing this business this week. Let me check it out. And at first glance, holy moly, this is amazing. So what I am seeing is that it's like one of those box subscriptions. So traditional Catholic t-shirts in subscription box. It is so cool. Free shipping on all US orders over $60. But like, I love this. Our mission: preach the gospel at all times, use shirts when necessary. You guys know the saying, preach the gospel at all times and then use words when necessary. I love that saying. And it's so cool to like use that popular quote to be your mission. And I've seen so many of these shirts before, and so it's so cool to see like this is the company that put it all together. And so like the one that said Terror of Demons, I love that shirt right there, St. Joseph shirt, so great. And so go check these guys out. It's like here, the Catholic Teacher T-shirt Club is a fun monthly unboxing experience for Catholics who love T-shirts, sacramentals, and surprises. So you don't even know what shirts you're getting. That's amazing. I love that. It's like getting a birthday present every month. Each month features a powerful Catholic theme designed to bring new life and meaning to your wardrobe. I absolutely love this. Like T-shirts are a huge part of my wardrobe, and this honestly probably needs to be part of my everyday life. Let me move this over here so I can see. I've seen this shirt before. I don't know if you guys have seen this shirt before. I love this shirt. Jesus, I trust in you. So cool. I love these shirts that just have these really simple messaging on them. Faith-filled messages, spark meaningful conversations, fair trade and U.S. made. Love that. True to size, soft and cozy. That's what we're always looking for in t-shirts. This is just such a cool business. And like I said, that's cool. It told me 2 hours ago someone purchased but it's so cool like that a company like this, such a simple business, but such a great way to be able to support your family. And I'm going to show you the family in a second. It's a beautiful Catholic family, but be able to support your family while providing other people a way to share God's message. So if you're going to go check out Sacrilegious, use promo code HAPPY. If you're going to check this one out, just check it out and buy what you need. Stickers. Oh man, those are my favorite. I would spend an irresponsible amount of money on stickers if my wife would let me. Stickers are my favorite. If you guys ever want to get me something and you just want to send something in to say, hey, like your channel's pretty cool, do that. Apparently this website's pretty sick because like it gives you little notifications if someone orders something. That's pretty awesome. They have kids boxes. Oh, here's like a good picture of it. So you got like the shirt, some different shirt options, the box, but then you see like it's got like the different prayer cards and the different stickers and stuff. So things that like, oh, and then over here, I don't know if the scapular and the rosary also come with it. May just be for the picture, but that is super cool to see that like all the like essential. That is so cool. It's such a cool design. So comfy tees to share the gospel. So I love it. This comment. This actually made me laugh. Loved it all. I go to St. John the Baptizer Catholic Church. It's the best. W, you're awesome. So here's the family though, right here. The dad, the mom. Looks like 3 kids, 3 girls, and a boy. Like such a great Catholic family. So guys, please go over to the Catholic T-shirt Club and share and support them, whether it's by sharing about them or get on a subscription or something. Free shipping, over $60. You guys know. Like I said, I don't get paid to do it, paid to talk about it, but that's okay. I don't want to be called to do it. So that is our business for the week. So Catholic T-shirt Club, go check them out. Description is below. And maybe I'll have them on the show sometime. We'll talk about the Catholic T-shirt Club. I'm brain blanking the name for a second. And maybe they can do a giveaway on our show or something. It'd be cool. So go check them out. And if you know of a Catholic business that we should review and talk about, please share it in the comments below and that can enter you in the giveaway. And that's how we're going to close this episode is if you guys want to be entered into our very first giveaway, this is for the month of August. Will this episode be out at the end of July? Today's the 29th. This episode will air on July 31st, but this giveaway will be for the month of August. And so you guys will have a chance to enter with every episode I post. And at the very last episode, so if I was doing one in July, it would be in this episode, I would announce the winner for July. On the very last episode, so the last Thursday of August, we will announce the winner and I will get your information and I will share it with you. You'll have to email me so I can get to all your shipping stuff. But all you have to do is comment on this video, a takeaway from the video, from Anthony's story, from what I shared at the beginning, or comment a business that we should review, a Catholic business that we should check out, and that we should review. It doesn't have to be a website. It can be a material thing. I did a candle company, whatever it is, we will check it out and we will do a review on it. Hopefully you guys enter the giveaway. Like, subscribe, comment, continue to support the channel. We love making this content. And now as a missionary, I think making this content is just even better with what I'm doing. And I would love to invite you guys to be on mission with me. And you guys can be on mission by supporting monthly. And honestly, if you're listening, even something as small as $5 to $10 a month helps support my family in being full-time evangelists, not on the internet, just on the internet. That's part of it. Very, very, very little part of it, but in real life, like going out, reaching people, bringing them hopefully into the fullness of the Catholic Church, and bringing them to Jesus and living with Jesus as the center of their life. If you want to support that mission, the link is below, and it's a different link. There's the podcast link, but there's actually a different link below that is super easy that you guys can give monthly. Like I said, $5 to $10 a month goes a long way in helping support our family on mission so we can be full-time evangelizers. In the meantime, you guys have a great night. Continue to drink and drink responsibly, but finish your nightcap with your wife, talk about the episode, whatever it is you're going to do, and then have a great night. We will catch you guys next week where we were out at the diocesan, let me see if I can say it, Newlywed and Engaged Blessing Mass. And I got to interview some fun couples and got to a special interview with Bishop Condell as well. So I can't wait to share that episode with you too. But you guys continue to support the channel by watching, liking, subscribing, comments. And if you want to go an extra step, join as a monthly supporter below. Other than that, you guys have a great night and we will talk to you soon. God bless.